What is up, guys? So I finally made a Salamangreat deck, and I decided to do a little bit of a deck profile. I do find this deck quite interesting. What I would say is I really think it's a deck that rewards good players. I don't play this deck because I don't really find it that fun, and also I'm not into complex decks. I like unfair decks. I like playing the best deck of the format or playing Dark Lords. Those are the two things. I play whatever unfair best deck of the format there is, or I play Dark Lords. And this deck is a bit too skill intensive for me, but it does reward you for understanding your opponent's matchup, for understanding what to do in different situations. What I really like about this deck is that it's rare when I feel like I just lost because I bricked or something. No, the deck is quite consistent, and it just does a good job against most things. So if you know what you're doing, you're playing correctly, you definitely will see a lot of success. And I do think this is a great deck to get into to learn the game. If you've got someone who you want to introduce to Yu-Gi-Oh on a competitive scale, I would probably say there's probably no deck better than this one to introduce them to, just because it plays itself, and then from there it's like it really teaches them high level Yu-Gi-Oh concepts and really just the right time to interrupt chains and stuff. And because it does the same thing every single turn, there's not a lot of extra things the person would need to think about, so they can focus on kind of learning the game on a more macro level. But enough of me talking amazingly about Salamangreat. Let's move on to the deck profile. So I'm going to be playing 2 Jack-Jaguar, really good card, obviously recycling your Salamangreat cards from your graveyard and providing your free special summon. Got the 1 Foul. I do like Foul just because it gives me an easy route into my Bagooska or Dweller. Both really good cards this format, especially Dweller, which just outs everything at the moment. I mean, every deck just hard loses to this card, and it's just so amazing. I really like it. Got 2 Lady Debug as our alternate normal summon. Most of the time I don't actually want to normal summon her. She's nice for being able to search my Gazelle, but the problem is, if my Lady Debug gets negated and I don't have an extender in my hand, I'm not in a good position. So that's why I don't really like her sometimes. But still, we do play 2 of her. Got the 1 Falco, obviously for recycling our spells and traps and for recycling our Salamangreat cards, and for another free special summon. The Gazelle, the main play star, really good card. Obviously searching any Salamangreat card essentially, and she's always going to be what I'm going to be adding back to my hand with my Sunlight Wolf or with my Falco effect. Free spinny for gaining attack, gaining attacking your Salamangreat decks, and also for getting another free special summon. I don't think I've ever really used the gain attack effect in an offensive way. That's really just to get it into the graveyard. But yeah, moving on. Foxy, one thing I really like about Foxy is his secondary effect, pop face up spell and trap within the graveyard, gives you really solid removal to a lot of floodgates. So I don't really feel at the mercy of my opponent's floodgates. This deck has so many ways to deal with back rows and things like that, which is really nice. But yeah, we play the free Foxy. Her duality effect is also really good as well. We got free Ash Blossom, this deck being one of the decks that can very consistently add Ash Blossom back to its hand as well, which is just insane. But yeah, really good card. You're definitely going to be running that free, especially with Called by the Grave going to 1 this format. Then we play 3 Desires. So this card is amazing for Salamangreat. The only disadvantage obviously is that sometimes you'll banish your Gazelle, but most of the time it's not too hard to get to your Gazelle before activating Desires, so I don't mind having it too much. And even if you banish your Gazelle, it's not the end of the world. You usually still can play quite well with this deck. Then we've got our free Signet Minings for searching out. So a lot of the times I'll search out Debug, or it really depends. If I've got extenders, I'll go for Debug. If I haven't, I'll go for Foxy. But yeah, really good card for just generic consistency in your deck. The 1 Upstart, again, it's really about consistency and making sure every hand is playable. Like I said before, what I really like about this deck is that I really feel like I just bricked. If I'm losing a game, most of the time I do feel like it's my fault and I could have played better, as opposed to I just bricked on my opponent, just opened the nuts, and just kind of pushing myself further along that is to add the Upstart, so it's a 39 card deck. I've got the 1 Monster Reborn, great card, really nothing to say about that. Forbidden Droplet, a really necessary card this format, unfortunately, with Dragoon and stuff, and because a lot of the cards in your deck you don't mind sending to the graveyard anyway, so this is a good card to have. The 1 Circle is a good card, but to be honest, with Signet Mining, it just doesn't matter that much most of the time, so I'm not really bothered about Salamangreat Circle, but it is a good card to have, I mean, in terms of getting a free search. Got the 3 Will of the Salamangreat. This card is amazing. The reason why I like playing this at free especially is because it helps me play around Nibiru, which is probably one of my biggest weaknesses. So a lot of the times I'll just keep it in my hand and I'll wait for my opponent to Nibiru me, and then I'll just extend after they Nibiru me, which is really nice to have. But yeah, I do like this card a lot. Really strong card for Salamangreats. Got the 1 Salamangreat Sanctuary. Obviously this is nice to have just to kind of get your relinked effects really easily without having to neg for them, and also because it's really easily searchable by Bailings. I don't really know what the secondary effect is for. Maybe someone can tell me in the comments. I don't get it. Maybe I'm just not understanding what it's meant to be doing. With the secondary effect, I don't think I've ever used it because I don't really know what it's supposed to accomplish. But yeah, anyway, moving on. we could move on from that. But yeah, Got 3 imperm, really good hand trap this format for dealing with a lot of decks. And again, this deck is great going first, but even going second, I have so many routes to deal with my opponent that I really don't mind, because I've got the droplets, got the ashes, got the imperms, and then all of my combos are 1-card combos, which is really nice. Then we've got the Rage. Rage, really strong removal card, being able to pop 2 cards on the board easily. I mean, everything about this card is awesome, and then recycle it every turn. Obviously going to be playing it at 2 because we've got 3 desires in the build, and then we've got 2 raw as well for the same reason, just a really good card for Salamangreats. Then I play 1 Imperial Order. I think Imperial Order is an anti-spell Great Fragrance are both really good cards this format. I think for Salamangreats, it doesn't hurt you that much. Blocking myself off from spells doesn't matter that much, and also I can remove it if I really do need to. But I do think it's worth it, because a lot of decks, once they see Imperial Order or anti-spell, the game is over for them. But yeah, moving on to the extra deck. So we're going to be playing our 3 Balinks. Obviously, just having that link 1, being able to get to him very quickly is going to be useful. Then we've got a 1 Splash Mage for extending, 3 Salamangreat Sunlight Wolf. Wow, what a tongue twister. This card is amazing, obviously, generating pluses every turn, and just being a really good monster to end on. I'm surprised the deck ends on this card a lot of the time, and yet, in spite of that, manages to survive against most decks past turn 1, which is really good. But yeah, really good Sunlight Wolf. Really like having him at 3. Update Jammer and Transcode Talker for our little combo to OTK our opponent with access code as well. This combo is amazing, and this is how I win a lot of my games. Again, what's just going to happen is my opponent isn't going to be able to kill me on their turn, and then it's as simple as dismantling their board, resolving this combo, and suddenly they've taken more than 8k damage and they don't know how they lost against Salamangreats. That's how I used to feel before, and now I see how easy it is to do in this deck. It's just really awesome. Got the 2 Heat Leo as well. I do like Heat Leo just because his ability to shuffle cards back into your opponent's deck is nice for outing threats. It's also nice for reducing your opponent's attack as well, which is great. I don't go into him every game, but he does do a good job. I would say that now that you have the update Jammer combo, it's just rare that I need to go into him, because I've probably popped their back row anyway with raid and stuff, but it's nice to have in case, and he's good in the grind game as well. Then we've got the 1 Pyro Phoenix, just because I hadn't run a spot in my issue deck and I didn't know what to put. I don't think I ever actually summoned him because access code does his job better, but it's just there. It's just there, so why not? And then you got the Baguska and the Abyss Dweller. So what I like about Baguska especially is that a lot of decks can't out Baguska because they need to use the effect of the normal summon and stuff, and even when they go into a link monster, unless they have specific interruption, because I'm going to put him in the EM zone so he can't just be Cerberus, unless they have specific interruption, they still won't be able to out the Baguska, which is really nice because it's got 2000 defense. So I do like Baguska as kind of like a little wall to put with my Salamangreat cards. But yeah, moving on from that into the side deck, we've got 3 Solemn Judgment. Solemn Judgment is going to be a great card to use going games 2 and 3, because people are obviously going to be signing a lot of their blowout cards against you. Got 3 Evenly, 3 Lightning Storm for dealing with back row decks, 3 Veiler for dealing with Verte and combo decks, and 3 Nibiru for the exact same reason. So guys, that is my Salamangreat deck profile. I'm definitely going to do another one when I know this deck more. I am still learning it myself, but I do think it's a really good deck to go into, and I have enjoyed as much as it is a bit boring. I have enjoyed playing this deck and getting a bit better with. So guys, if you enjoyed this deck profile, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content, and I'll talk to you all soon. Peace.